Look at the decimal fractions on the board. 17.45, 292.32 and 1.49. What do you think is common amongst all three? All three of them have the same number of digits in the decimal part. 2, 2 and 2. Such decimal fractions are called like decimal fractions. Remember, same number of digits after the decimal point. On the right-hand side, let's look at another set of decimal fractions. 12.46, 15.195 and 223.3914. Here, the number of digits after the decimal point are not the same. Such numbers are called unlike decimal fractions. It was easy, right? So let me ask you a very simple question. Can we convert unlike decimal fractions to like ones? To understand that, we need to understand a very simple concept. Look at the number 4.6. 4 is in the ones place and 6 is in the tens place. So this number can be written as 4 times 1 plus 6 times 1 by 10. Now look at 4.60. With the same logic, this can be written as 4 times 1 plus 6 times 1 by 10 plus 0 times 1 by 100. 0 multiplied by any number is always 0. So essentially, this value is equal to this value, which means 4.6 and 4.60 have the same numerical value. What about 4.600? It equals 4 times 1 plus 6 times 1 by 10 plus 0 times 1 by 100 plus 0 times 1 by 1000. As these two terms are 0, we can surely conclude that 4.600 has the same numerical value as 4.6. It means that if we add zeros on the right after the last digit of the decimal part, the value of the number does not change. Now look at this question. We have to convert these three decimal fractions into like decimal fractions. As the number of digits after the decimal point are not the same, we can say they are unlike. To convert them into like decimal fractions, the first thing we need to do is find the decimal fraction which has the highest number of digits after the decimal point. It's this one, as it has 3 digits after the decimal point, and the other two have 2 and 1 respectively. Now all we really need to do is make sure that we have 3 digits after the decimal point of each number. And to do that, we just add zeros at the end of the number. The first number is 2.92. To have 3 digits after the decimal point, we just add 1 zero. So 2.920 and 495.393 are like decimal fractions. The next decimal fraction we have is 14.1. To get 3 digits after the decimal point, we need to add 2 zeros here. So these two decimal fractions become like. We keep the third one as is, 495.393. That's how we convert unlike decimal fractions to like ones. Now we look at one last concept in this video. What are equivalent decimal fractions? Two decimal fractions are equivalent if they have the same value. Look at these three pairs of numbers. Are 0.65 and 2.65 equivalent? We can see that the digits after the decimal point are same in both the cases, but the integral part is different. It means these two decimal fractions do not have the same value. These two decimal fractions are not equivalent. What about these two? The integral part is the same, but the decimal parts are 42 and 420. But we had seen that adding zeros to the right of the decimal part does not change its value. So the value of these two decimal fractions is essentially the same. They are equivalent decimal fractions. What about these two decimal fractions? The integral part is the same, and in the decimal part, we have just added zeros which shouldn't change the value, right? No, that's incorrect. Adding a zero before the last digit of the decimal part will change the value. So 0.05 is not the same as 0.5. These two decimal fractions are not equivalent.